Welcome in, everybody, to a new episode of the Wisemen Say podcast powered by Yamo Media. I completely upped the intro, but I guess it's oh well. I cannot hear a word you're saying. Hang on. Oh, wait, there we go. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Peachy Keen living the dream, another day in paradise, I assume. I wonder why I cannot, let's fix this. I know what it is. Output. Say something.
Something.
There we go. You were playing through my laptop speakers and not my headphones. So, what's up, buddy?
Not much, living life.
To the fullest. Tell him Swayze, you only live it once. Eminem.
Yeah.
Sorry, had to throw Eminem in there.
I do want to give an update. I have lost 30 pounds since June. Being on the medicine that the weight loss medicine, I have lost 30 pounds. I started at 465. I'm now down to 435.
Nice.
So I got that to look forward to now.
Hell yeah, dude. Not much to talk about today, but I mean, I guess the biggest thing is the chaos in Columbus. This past, was it Saturday?
Yeah, this past Saturday.
So I guess just to kick us off with that, I mean, you were at the game. What the fuck happened?
So I saw Sean and Romero collide. And as they were coming down, it just so happens Jordan Morris got hit in the face. And ref, it looked like Sean and Romero collided head to head. And it just happened, Romero's arm, sort of bitch smacked Jordan Morris. Not on purpose, but as he was coming down, you know what I'm saying? And ref didn't even take a second look to even go to VAR. He waited till Romero got up, showed the red card, and said enough is enough, free kick to Seattle. So
I think the biggest question is, why didn't VAR take a look at this? Because I can see it going either way, right? I can see it being a yellow card. I can see it being a red card. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest question is, and I know why you told me that you weren't there, but I feel like that was a perfect instance as to the referee pool reporter should be able to ask a question or two to the referee liaison, to the referee, whatever the what's it called? The I'm drawing a blank process is as to why it was red card and what constituted the red card. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So from what I heard, it was the ref said it was reckless.
Reckless is a yellow.
I know. I don't know if he was thinking it was dogs though.
It couldn't have been dogs though, because Zawatsky got the ball.
Yeah. So I mean,
I can see serious foul play. I'll give you that. Right? I'll give you serious foul play. What I can't give is a straight red and VAR not intervening, which now I say it out loud, it leads me to think that if VAR would have intervened, it would have been a clear and obvious error that the referee would have made.
And he didn't want, don't want to take accountability.
It's not even that. Now it leads me to think that they saw no clear and obvious error. Now, the next question is, again, what constituted the red? What was it about Romero's action that was a red card? Was it him jumping? Was it maybe running in the, what was it exactly that constituted the red card? I can't find anything except for the fact that he went in, kind of with force on Morris, and just so happened to take out Zawadzki in the making. Right?
Yeah, I didn't see a red card, foul. I don't know if it was the fact that I think he might have jumped late, or launched himself, you know what I'm saying? I called bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it looked like a head-to-head, with Jordan Morris. Until, seeing a picture that was posted, one of the photographers, took a picture and, had it. And it didn't show, head to head with Jordan Morris, but it showed, it looked like head to head with Sean, but it looked like Romero's arm was, like I said, bitch smacking Jordan Morris.
Which in then turns, it's so hard to judge about what was actually, the reasoning, if we didn't get a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, for in that sense, right? Romero gets a red card. Okay. Sean Zawadzki, the Swiss Army knife himself, has played every position for the Columbus Crew.
Almost.
He's tomato. I mean,
he hasn't played, hasn't started or played in the position of forward, but he's been up there, with some scoring chances as a winger.
He did play as forward. He subbed in for Cucho last year as a forward.
He did?
Yes. Tomato. Even if he didn't, tomato. Same thing. He's played every position for the Columbus Crew under Wilfried Nancy. Almost. I'll give you that.
Except for head coach.
So he gets thrown in. I can see Sean being a head coach somewhere, like down the road.
Akron.
Nah, probably back at Georgetown where he's from. He gets thrown in the goal. Now, this part of the game, I get home from Ohio Dominican just in time to see all this chaos ensue, right? I cannot fault Sean Zawadzki for anything at all in that game. Nothing.
No.
Nothing at all. You can't fault a field player for expecting to set up a wall properly. You can't fault a field player who plays keeper for letting in a low-driven shot in sense he was probably screened by Morris. Right. Yeah, there's the third goal for Seattle for Rusnak. That's just a well-timed shot off of a good pass from Morris. You can't fault him for that. No keeper's getting to that. Right? I cannot fault Sean Zawatsky for anything. I was practically laughing throughout the entire thing because I thought it was hilarious. But in a sense of,
I think everybody was. I think everybody was laughing and also pissed off at the same time.
I can get pissed off because we don't know what the reason was for the red card, right?
Yep.
But I can laugh at this. I was laughing at this whole thing, but it wasn't in a sense of, oh, this is ridiculous. It was in a sense of, I can't believe what I'm watching. I can't believe Columbus would be in this position. And it's so funny in the fact that we essentially have been punished for being good.
Yep.
So now we talk about what got us into this predicament in the first place. Okay.
Don Garber.
If let's not call out names. Let's not do that. So we have 7 minutes and 15 seconds of pure glory to do that for us. So Hagen and Schulte get called up to the national teams, to their respective national teams. Now, the stipulation in the sense that the first team can call up a player from the reserve from their second team is 4 times during the season. They can't play more than two MLS games. If memory serves me correct. Yes,
without getting that first team contract.
Yeah. So the next question I pose is why and how. Let me start again. So CONCACAF required 3 goalies on the roster. Correct. So we had Schulte, we had Bush, we had Stas Lapkus?
Hagen.
Okay, so we had 3. When was the final? June?
Yes.
Bush gets hurt in April. So now we have to call up, what was it Lapkus?
I think Stas and Cole both rotated.
Okay, so we call up one of those 2, right? So that's 2 call-ups. Right?
Mm-hmm. Each person.
The third one was an exemption in league. I believe it was Leagues Cup. Yeah,
it was supposed to. It was supposed to be the Olympic exemption.
Well, that was the friendly against Villa.
No, Patrick was out for Villa, and he was also out for when the round of 16 or round of 32.
Okay, so the round of 32 was the third, right? Yep. The third call-up, then the Villa friendly, which was 4. The question is, why and how does a friendly count towards the call-up? And that's what Tom Bogert was talking about on the Golasso show. I think it was this morning or was it yesterday? I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday morning.
Monday.
How and why does a call-up get used for a friendly? And how does it count if it has nothing to do with the has nothing to do with MLS?
So right? This is it's a 50-50. It's the league and it's also the Players Association. Because if you look at it, the players all agreed for the 4 call-ups before you have to get that contract if you want to be called up again.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on,
So
Moso.
it's
Sorry. One of the ODU players just got cleared by the NCAA.
got cleared.
Yeah.
All right. That's what's up.
Sorry.
It's all in the CBA. So this is where common sense should take over, for the league, where you have the hottest team, in North America and Central America and pretty much in the Western Hemisphere right now of the Columbus Crew is the hottest team.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is where common sense comes into play for the league to say, okay, if you want to be all about profit and money, who's bringing in the most money right now? The hottest team, right? Columbus.
Miami. I know it's Columbus,
Miami.
but a lot of people say Miami because of Messi.
Miami's going to bring in money because of Messi. That's inter Messi FC or CF, however you want to put it. But Columbus is hot right now, so you would want to, you would want to sort of protect your hot team right now. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you would want to do everything because right now, besides, Messi's only one person. Right now, the face of MLS is the whole entire Columbus Crew organization. You're talking MLS Cup in December, Champions Final on June 1st, Leagues Cup champions, all in a 9-month span. So right now, Columbus is the face of MLS. You can argue and say Messi is the ambassador for MLS, the global ambassador. So you would want to protect a hot team. And you would want to do everything you can, common sense to be like, okay, we'll grant you this. We'll grant you this, right? Because it would benefit not only the organization for, the hardship waivers, but it benefits MLS because its hottest team is pretty much running at full, at full capacity, having a full bench, right? So it's 50-50 on the league and also on the Players Association.
So you would think that the Columbus Crew, the hottest team in MLS, they would fall into that second category of extreme hardship because we have less than 16 players or the 2 keepers, whatever it is, on the bench. We only have 1. So
you would think.
So what is it about the Columbus Crew that did not meet the, I'll just call it, qualifications to get that hardship waiver?
Small market. Everybody.
Okay, Gerald left. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened here. Okay, so what was it about Columbus that I don't think I took him off screen. I think his laptop died or something like that. So what was it about what is it about the Columbus Crew that did not meet the qualifications, as I called it, for them to get this waiver for a backup keeper. Gerald, before he magically disappeared, said small market. Now, when we classify small market, we're talking maybe, connection issue. Okay, that's fine. Connor says that's an easy answer. We're not Miami. Now, one would think that if Miami were in this position, that they would automatically be handed in this waiver type thing, right? So small market, we're thinking what? Philadelphia, we're thinking Columbus. We might throw in Montreal, we're throwing in maybe Salt Lake and everything like that. Welcome back.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? He can't hear me at all, can he? He cannot hear me at all.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so when we think small market, as you said before you magically disappeared, we're thinking what? Philadelphia, Montreal, Columbus, Salt Lake, Dallas. We're thinking all of these teams that aren't, either have big stars or don't have I wouldn't say population, but the attraction like the LAFC, the Miami,
The New Yorks.
the New Yorks, yeah, like especially New York City because of who they're tied to, right? So we can talk about all of these things and kind of draw our own conclusions, but it baffles me in the sense that if we want this league to grow, right? And we want the players from the second teams and whatnot to get at least a little bit of exposure, then you can't just put. I mean, you can have the four call ups, but in a situation like this, you have to be able to, put in place the stipulation of extreme hardship, because
We were
then
at extreme hardship.
oh yeah, we were out six starters pretty much.
Six starters and one yellow card accumulation.
Yeah. So we want these, it's hard. And as Nancy said, we're not asking to change it, just be a little more
Coherent.
I would say consistent with
Well,
it.
he said coherent, consistent, and transparent.
Yeah. You want to be all of these things with it. You know what I mean? And it baffles me for the fact that a team that has literally done so well from the beginning of last year to now is just getting kind of the short end of the stick.
It just seems like the more success you have, if you're the small markets, you get punished for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If don't hold me to this, but I think LAFC last year might have applied for a hardship. Because of their insane schedule that they had. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, We don't have celebrity owners. If you want to boil it down to, yes, we got billionaires that own the Columbus Crew. We don't have the celebrity owners like Inter Miami. LAFC has a group of 19 people that own LAFC. New York City is partially owned by the owners of, Man City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Red Bulls are owned by fucking Red Bull. You know what I'm saying? So when you got brands that can be marketed, like LAFC, Inter Miami, Red Bulls, NYC, when you got those brands, you know what I'm saying? Now the league sort of holds you on a higher tier than everybody else. Yes, we got billionaire owner that owns the Cleveland Browns and also owns part of the Milwaukee Bucks. Also owns a gas station. So I mean, I without throwing names into it, it gets frustrating because it's not only the MLS commissioner, it's also the rules committee for MLS. The fairness committee, however you want to. I don't know.
I will say I'm very surprised that Wilfried Nancy has not gotten a fine or suspended for comments because he literally called out the league. Literally called out the league. And I say that because I did see that New England Revolution head coach Caleb Porter got fined $20,000 and suspended for one game for his 10-minute monologue on Tim Ford and officiating the recent game for the Revolution this past Saturday.
It's just something about former Crew coaches and current Crew coaches that are having enough of the league.
So
you can say what you want about people can say what they want about Porter, like his tactics on as far as like his schemes go are outdated. Yes. Does Porter take responsibility sometimes? Yes. Does he throw people under the bus? Absolutely. But when the man has a point and he knows his team was done wrong, he has no problems of accepting that fine.
Yeah.
And that suspension. Because he wants it out there on the record. And I think that's the same thing with Nancy. Like Nancy, no questions from the media, but he was a 7-minute rate. And props to Nancy for doing that.
Yeah.
Props. And it's not being biased. Somebody had to do it. And I'm gonna take it back to last year. Messi signed with Inter Miami. And then all of a sudden Messi and gang decided they wanted to come to the MLS. And it was, how is Inter Miami going to be able to afford or have the spots open to bring, the whole gang with him, right?
Yeah.
Case in point, look at the rule changes that got approved for the summer. You can have the 3 DPs and 2 U22s, or you can have 2 extra U22s and get 2 mil in GAM, and plus keep your 2 DPs. That rule change wouldn't have happened without Messi.
Yeah.
Now you want to start talking about roster restrictions. Now, for real, it takes a coach like Nancy, like whoever else that's big right now in MLS to put it on record calling the league out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what needs to change. You want the league to be respected. You want this, you want that. Take out some of the restrictions. You're afraid. So me and my uncle were talking on Saturday. And back when MLS was created, yes, the salary cap was perfect, right? You only had 9 teams. You had 9 teams for a while, right?
Yeah.
So yes, having a salary cap in a league that was just, fresh, started, formed in 94, but started operating in 96. You wanted that salary cap because they were losing money because soccer wasn't big in the United States at the time. Then you start getting all these, international players to come over. You know what I'm saying? Wayne Rooney, Beckham, Landon Donovan came back, came over, right? And now it was like, okay, well, now we have to pay these people. So we're going to up the salary cap. Now you're getting eyes on, on soccer in the United States. So then now we have to go, they had to change some of the rules. Now you got billionaires and like Beckham and Will Ferrell owning teams. You know what I'm saying? So now they got the money that they could put back into the club. So you want to keep the salary cap at a low rate, but you're not able to bring in young stars. You're not able to compete with the Prem. You're not able to keep up with Liga or La Liga or the Bundesliga when it comes to signing your stars. You could go overseas and get $100 million contract and be set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you got to come over here to MLS and you want $100 million contract. Well, you got to sign a 10-year. You got to sign a 10-year contract at $10 million a year. And I don't see an MLS team going 10 years, 10 million for anybody.
No. Hell no.
So if you eliminate the salary cap, right? And you start growing academies, you start growing, you know what I'm saying? You start developing your talent here in the United States. You'll find those diamonds in the rough here. You know what I'm saying? You'll find those diamonds in these academies, but you're not taking the time to develop those. And then when they do go overseas at a young age, they're making, 80 million as a 19-year-old, as a 17-year-old. And then when they want to come back home, it's like, I'm just going to, stay over here because it's not worth my time because the pay over here sucks. And I hate to say it's all about the money, but it is all about the money here in the MLS. You want your team to be good, you're going to have to go out and pay for it, but you can't go out and pay for it because, we got one arm tied around our back because of the salary cap. And unfortunately, it's just like, you could buy your way to the top. But when, we come back to the small markets, they feel like the small market is going to fold because they don't have they feel like there's not enough capital, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of capital here in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Between all three owners of the Columbus Crew, if we want stars, give us the ability to go out and get them.
So I'm trying to see. Okay. Other than that, I guess we were caught between a hard place and whatever that saying is.
A rock and a hard.
Yes, rock in a hard place. Yes. But life moves on. We're still third in the East. We'll get the players back this week for Cincinnati.
I tell you, Cucho's going to be pissed.
Cucho's probably on his way back to Columbus right now.
Cucho's going to be pissed. He's proud he got called up, but he's pissed right now.
Yeah.
And that's one player you don't want to see pissed off because he's going to murder somebody.
Metaphorically.
Yes. Metaphorically, not physically.
But I guess life moves on. Seattle got their win. They're cherishing a 4-0 win. Good for them. I guess the only thing I could say is when they talk about this win, they need to put an asterisk next to it, just like they wanted us to put an asterisk next to the 2020 MLS Cup. That's all I guess I can say about that.
I mean, but Columbus is not, when it comes to playing Seattle, it's a lot of controversy between Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy, between those two teams whenever Columbus plays them.
True.
So I don't. Congrats on getting your first career hat trick. Congrats,
Albert
Rusnik. But to me, he didn't deserve to be the MLS player of the match week. But like you said, it needs to have an asterisk next to it. All accolades for that team from that game needs to have an asterisk next to it.
Yes.
Because no.
How can we come by and nag me down to a GAM player and open up a DP spot this summer? That is a good question. I think it had to do with I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with money wise. So pissed off Nazi puzzle Kuju back combination. Yeah. I can see we'll touch on that later on.
I got a takeaway from this game.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a takeaway. I feel bad though for Romero. Because the kid's not going to see another
minute for MLS for the Columbus Crew.
Yeah, if lucky, he might get to go to Crew 2. I honestly feel bad for him because this was like an audition for him.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah.
What was your takeaway?
Takeaway is regardless of all the adversity, the team still didn't give up. they were limited in their attacking abilities because they were down a man and down a keeper.
Yeah.
But I did love the fact every time Sean saved the ball, the whole crowd erupted.
Oh yeah. I was here at home
Um,
cheering for him too.
You said
Dog,
what?
I said I was here at home cheering for him too. I was celebrating those saves like it was the MLS Cup.
Like I said it before the match. I was like, yeah, we got an unofficial third keeper, and Brianna was like, who? I was like, Sean. Sean, said earlier this year that if they need him to play keeper, he would play keeper. Never thought that I would actually see it.
Yeah.
But as soon as here's how I knew Sean was about to become the keeper. When Sean walked away from Romero and Jordan Morris over there on the ground, instead of going over to Nazi, he went straight to Phil. And him and Phil were talking, and next thing you know, he was handed the red jersey. Now I do want a red number 25 keeper kit.
I'm getting a customized keeper jersey, and I'm having Zawadzki put on the back of it. That's for sure. That's all there is to it. But moving on. Crew 2. What do you got for that? This is all you.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Cappy's Corner. As your beloved Cappies, we're on the road to take on Chattanooga FC down there. And yeah, it wasn't the result that the Cappies wanted. But in the 75th minute, Owen Presses did score a header to cut the deficit from 2-0 to 2-1, which his header, he channeled his inner Cucho, and he headed that ball with authority. With the assist coming from Sid Mohan, who is one of the new Cappies. They still sit in third place behind FC Cincinnati 2. And Philadelphia Union 2. The Cappies do have a chance to tie first, I believe is what I saw in there. I had the standings. Yes, they do have a chance to tie for first with a win over FC Cincinnati 2 this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Apple TV. And in order for them to tie for first, Philadelphia Union would have to either draw and go into PKs or lose for Crew 2 to jump up to second, tied for first with FC Cincinnati 2. There is only 4 more weeks left of next pro season before the playoffs start. So if you get a chance for another home game for the Cappies, go out and support them. If you can't go, tune in to either MLSnextpro.com or Apple TV and support your Cappies home or away as the playoffs are getting ready to heat up and teams are making runs. And see if the Cappies could go for a third straight MLS Next Cup final appearance. And that is your Cappy's Corner.
My favorite, the pants of Ohio Dominican. 2 games under the belts so far this season. West Liberty and Seton Hill. Final 1-1.
Seton Hill or Seton Hall?
Seton Hill. There is a Seton Hall. You are correct, but this team we played is Seton Hill from I can't remember where they're from. 1-1 against West Liberty. Felipe Corral gets
I'm back.
Are you good?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Water went down the wrong pipe.
We don't need a death on fucking live stream right now. Relax over there. Fuck. Felipe Corral scores the equalizer with about $1.58 left in the second half against West Liberty. We draw 1-1. Get a crucial point that bumps us to 4th in the GMAC standings. Then we take on Seton Hill on Saturday. This game, we made Seton Hill look good, which sucks because they were not good at all. But Panthers end up losing 2-0 on the day. Goal differential now sets at -1, -0, -1, -2. I think now we drop down to like 7th in the GMAC. Have one more game, non-conference. By the time this comes out, we would have played McKendree on September 11th, which at the time of this recording or the time of this live stream is tomorrow. When this comes out, we have already played McKendree. So I work for the team, so I am part of the team. We play McKendree, number 24 in the nation. So that's going to be a tough challenge ahead of us. But updates on that next time we record. And yeah, it should be a good match. Also, as mentioned earlier, one of our players just got cleared by the NCAA. Working to get him cleared for tomorrow's match. If not, he would definitely be available for our trip to Lake Erie next Thursday. Ohio Dominican is Division 2. So
you always love going to Lake Erie.
No, I don't. I hate that place so much. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. I don't like Lake Erie at all. But the match we all look forward to this week, it has to be. This is a game that we have to win. This is a game we have to win. Are GG players allowed to sign NIL deals? I'm not talking about that. Hell is real. We have the away leg now. After we lost, what was it? 2-1 or 2-0?
Yeah. 2-1.
2-1 to those peeps down south. 71 South. Now we go there. It just seems like anytime we play Cincinnati, you can always tell the weather's changing somehow, some way. Whenever we play Cincinnati.
That is absolutely true. And I sort of miss that stadium.
Same.
It's
a nice stadium.
It's a nice stadium, but I have better memories in it. The tears of the academy and next pro team, as they walk through the tunnel with their head down. Oh, my bad. We're not talking about that game. No, but
I wasn't even paying attention. I assume
Oh,
you're referencing the Eastern Conference Final.
yes, I was.
It's a great match.
Hell, that's a instant
It's a great,
classic.
great match. Great match.
Matter of fact, I want to go back and watch it again. Um, uh,
I would.
it's it's going to be interesting to see getting everybody back. You know, especially like Mo coming off his first assist internationally, his first ever international game. You know, Marrera going 90 minutes for Cape Verde the other day. Hagen with a 0-0, you know, shutout for Guatemala. So I mean, it's you got players coming off of good performances, coming back for a rivalry game,
Yeah.
and we need these games. You know, yes, the loss to Seattle stings. Everybody looks at it like it's it's a Western Conference, you know, game, so it doesn't really count. But in actuality, it counts. You know, so
And very briefly to surprise, surprise, very briefly to help us preview this FC Cincinnati Hillsborough preview for a short period of time. Former sideline reporter for Bally Sports Ohio, Brett Hiltbrand.
Yo,
What's up, buddy?
how we
what's
doing?
going on, Brett?
You kind of surprised me. I was like, who's joining this thing?
Oh yeah, I'm dropping in. This is what I do. No one expects me at any moment, and I just come in and surprise people. It's like if we did during the Bally and Fox Sports Ohio days. No one knew I was on until Neil just said something.
Yeah. So,
Brett,
but
go. Okay, in. Let's talk about it.
we're talking FC Cincinnati.
Okay.
We're talking. I said that whenever we play Cincinnati, there seems to be a temperature change in the air. It's one of those good weeks that you want to have a good week to lead up to the game on a weekend and kind of end that week on a high note, right? When you hear hell is real, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I think for me, it's Cucho catching a beer, chucked from the stands, and then chugging it after absolutely crushing the hearts and souls of FC Cincinnati fans in 2022 at TQL Stadium,
Yeah.
um, which is, I think, it's the first time I've ever been hit by a projectile from the stands, which was cool. That happened like maybe 5 minutes earlier. But yeah, I just think about the natural intensity of the rivalry that I think is very organic, and
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's in a lot of ways I think it's the rivalry that MLS has been looking for in that part of the country, outside of like uh, LA Galaxy, Cali Classico, which is kind of with the Galaxy in San Jose kind of worked, but didn't make a whole lot of sense. That's more of an OG rivalry in MLS
Yeah.
than maybe one in the last decade. Yeah, Traffic LA Galaxy LAFC is obviously a good one, but that's relatively recent, given, LAFC's, kind of still a quote unquote new club in the league. So
Mm-hmm.
like, this is like one of the most traditional rivalries, regional rivalries that the league has been looking for, I think, for a long time. That's super organic. That makes a lot of, um, makes a lot of sense. Obviously in the state of Ohio, but I think it's got a catchy name. Everything about it is great, and the fact that you know one team I think has been decidedly better in that rivalry makes it a little bit more interesting as well. So, um, the fact that I think FC Cincinnati is always kind of looking up at the Crew. Um, especially given after what happened in the Eastern Conference Final last year. That makes it for me one of the best ones around, certainly in North American professional soccer.
And that's something we were talking about
Can you
too before
almost say like the
Good.
can you almost say, Brett, it's almost like, how the last 3 years Michigan's got the better of Ohio State, with that rivalry, and how Cincinnati looks at Columbus like, we got the best of you this year, and then also the spring match last year,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
almost like looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's similar in that I don't, obviously with the lopsidedness of Ohio State, Michigan prior to the Ryan Day era, um, that in many ways I think kind of downgraded the overall rivalry, right? You want some back and forth. There has to be a little bit of parity. But I think for me, like the thing that I love about this one is everyone feels, even when FC Cincinnati was winning, racking up wooden spoons, it still felt like they had a chance to win the game. You know what I mean? And and I think everybody comes into that game, fans from both sides feel very strongly and confident that their team is going to win. And I think that's maybe the best sign of a healthy rivalry. Um, I also love the fact that it's happened in different places, and this is obviously unique to soccer. Though I think as the landscape of college football changes, this will also kind of ebb and flow a little bit. That you're seeing this rivalry played with the two regular season games, U.S. Open Cup. At some point, we're going to get a CONCACAF Champions League, FC Cincinnati, Columbus Crew game that's going to be absolutely fire. And then obviously you have the playoff games, right? And so the fact that this game can happen in at different points in the season with different kind of varying points of pressure makes it all the more worthwhile to be part of, and makes it especially fun to talk about.
That's something we were talking about too. The game last year, the Eastern Conference Final. Crew go down 2-0. Their second goal was a phantom foul call on Steven Moreira.
Yeah.
But you see the relentless grit that the team had from 65 on, bringing in Christian Ramirez, Julian Gressel. You get Diego Rossi scoring a goal in the 85th minute. What is it about when these two teams play? It's like a train wreck. You just can't keep your eyes away.
Yeah. I think part of it is you always hear the coaches, managers say like, oh, you have to like manage your emotions in this game.
Yeah.
No one does that well. Like it just doesn't happen. It's not possible. And so you get these in my moments, or in my opinion, you kind of get these extreme like moments and swings because it's not really possible to kind of manage the emotions and I think in a successful in like a generally successful way, or a way that is like comparable or similar to like regular MLS games. It just doesn't happen. Um, so that's why you see, like for me, the best example of that is like the absolute insanity of leaving Lucho Acosta on the field for extra time when he was it was obvious to anybody watching that game that he could not run. He just absolutely could not run. And so you were only keeping him on the field to take 5 steps and kick a penalty. And that's crazy talk. And it's the reason why they lost the game in the Eastern Conference Final. Like, Pat Noonan in a normal game makes that very easy but somewhat pragmatic decision to pull your best player off the field. And they probably, at the very least, they tie the game and then it goes to penalties. Like, that to me is like the perfect kind of personification of that craziness that kind of happens, that he thinks, well, you know what, we're just going to go for it and wing it and see what happens. And then homeboy turns it over and, Kevin Molino does his thing and, Christian puts the ball in the back of the net and Crew go on to win MLS Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, or, if you think about the 2-2 game in 2022 at FC Cincinnati down at TQL Stadium, the, Derek Etienne's goal, which is the first one of the game, is probably offside, and like no one really kind of talks about that. And so, Steve getting the rebound that he tucks in the last, 5 seconds or whatever. None of that matters if, Derek's goal that might have gotten called off or probably should have gotten called off. None of that matters if that happens. But that humanness of it, I think, is really special. In a lot of ways, I think it's very unique to MLS too, because I think sometimes we see the league in this very kind of like right-brained, like quagmire a little bit. This is all heart, emotion, the irrationality of like kind of the human soccer experience. And I think a lot of ways, that's why we all love this game, is because that's a huge part of, what makes it great.
It's you talk about the Eastern Conference. That was a wild game. And Ty touched on it a little bit about the grit, but so you bring it up to this year. What have you seen as far as like the resilience of the team, dealing with adversity that they could bring into this game now?
Well, think about how many crappy ass goals they've given up, right? Like
So
and
many.
it doesn't matter. They do like they've given up a ton of awful goals with mistakes in their own defensive third, and then they go out and they win 3-1 like it's nothing. And I think to me that right there is exactly why, or what I point to in terms of the greatest success that Wilfred Nancy has had in terms of those relationships with players and getting them to buy in to everything that he's preaching philosophically on the field. And that I want you to be uncomfortable in moments, under pressure, all of that. But you have my firm, absolute belief and confidence in you that if you make mistakes, you will not be retroactively punished for taking on the pressure that I am asking you to take on, right? And so because of that, when the mistakes happen, it doesn't seem to affect this team in any way, right? And so that's why I think it just the any adversity to me feels very superficial to this team. I think the locker room is as tight as any team I can remember. From what I've heard, obviously I'm not as involved as I used to be, but I still, we're still in there, so to speak. And they're as tight of a group as they've been. They remind me from all the conversations I've had, they remind me a little bit of that 2020 team that uh, you know had all the craziness with kind of the onset of COVID, the shutdown, and then that time period down in Orlando with the MLS's back tournament really got them to bond in a pretty significant way. And obviously they go on and make the run that they do in 2020. But it all starts with Nancy, right? Like it's the belief that he has managed to instill in this team. I still kind of find myself in awe of it at times. They they are so good. They know it, and they are willing to take on all comers because they believe so steadfastly and vehemently in everything that they're doing in training and all of the previous successes that they've had, the experiences that they've had. They believe in that so much that that's going to get them results in the end. That's why you see these guys performing at the highest level that they have been, and why I think, in my mind, they're the best team in North American soccer.
To not really jog memory, but the 2-1 loss this year to Cincinnati at home. It was the Lucho Acosta, almost Kevin Kelsey show, pretty much.
Right.
In that second half, Acosta dribbles to the end line and gets a ball up. Kevin Kelsey is a tall ass dude, honestly.
Yeah.
And Lucho Acosta is Lucho Acosta, reigning MLS MVP. What is it going to take for, besides FC Cincinnati missing Matt Miazga, Nick Hagelin, and all these players, especially going into a hostile environment in TQL Stadium, what is it going to take for Columbus to essentially get a result and kind of not let Cincinnati have the last laugh doing the double over Columbus this year?
Is there any reason for this Columbus Crew team to not have fabulous memories of playing in that stadium? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about the last handful of games there, right? You have You have the beer chugging game. You have what happened in 23. You have the Eastern Conference semifinal. And on top of that, I think they're coming in pretty pissed off with everything that happened with the Sounders game. I mean, you
Yeah.
heard it from Nancy after the game with the rant that he said he was going to address regardless of whether they won the game or not. Like, he was mad that they lost, but that wasn't the catalyst for him being as emotional as he was after the game.
Hmm.
Like, this is a team that is uber confident in that stadium, uber confident against that team. And also, they're kind of pissed off right now. So I think what it takes them to go and win the game is to continue doing what they got to do and what they've done all year. You can't let Lucho Acosta be the best player on the field, which is what happened in the game in Columbus.
Yeah.
Um, the you know it, the you kind of want to you want to be able to possess the ball. I think, in my mind, a little bit deeper in the field. It's more of a middle third build up progression game because as you pin Cincinnati back, that brings Lucho Acosta further into his middle third, defensive third, where he's going to try to pick up the ball. Lucho is at best when he's on a half turn in half spaces, can get the ball out, and then they're off and running in a transition. So if you have him basically as far away from goal as possible, that's usually going to be a good thing. And if you look at the games where Cincy's struggled this year, it's Lucho being further away from goal, pretty deep into the field. It
Hmm.
reminds me a little bit of how you used to see teams defend the Revs with Carlos Heel, and obviously they're different players, but like when Carlos is picking up the ball at midfield, like that's a good thing. When Carlos is picking up the ball like halfway between midfield and the edge of the 18, he's gonna kick your ass. So the further away from the field you are, or from goal, that's where you got to be. Um, and then it's all Cucho and Christian, right? Christian's technical ability, I think, is so underrated, but it's also all of the heady stuff. He makes all of these little movements and runs and plays and touches that free up everybody else. He eats up like a defender and a half, and I think that's why you've seen Cucho and Diego especially in the last maybe 2.5 months raise a level. So it's those two playing well. It's Nagby doing Nagby stuff. And if they do that, if they honestly and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, nor do I think it's disrespectful to Cincinnati, who I think is a really good team. If the Crew play like the A game, they win the game going away. Period. Point blank.
Hmm.
Which touches on uh, this question is with the heavy congested schedule that the Crew have already played this year, coming into this last quarter of the season,
Yeah.
do you think that some of the fatigue might be starting to set in? And do you think that coming up against a Cincinnati that always seems to play Columbus harder than anybody else will try to play on making them chase more?
Yeah, I think on some level that'll probably be the case. I think the biggest thing that jumped out at me from the first game this year is how much Cincinnati went at the Crew. And where you would maybe expect them to be a little bit more pragmatic on the road, and that wasn't the case. And for stretches of that game, especially in the first half, it was like back and forth for sure. I do think it's that Pat is very aware of some of the deficiencies that they meaning FC Cincinnati have at center back. They signed two new CBs in the transfer window, but those are newer guys. And they obviously have had the injuries that they've had. Lucho bounced back from whatever injury he had. That he bounced back pretty quickly and seems to be relatively close to 100% or whatever percentage guys are at their best, at this point in the year. But I think if you're Cincinnati, you're trying to win this game like you've won all the other games in this rivalry, in that you're trying to get a goal in transition. If you get a crappy penalty, even better. I'm trying to avoid using the word soft, but like that's really what we're talking about here. If you get a
Yeah.
soft penalty, which seems to be what they get more often than not, that's absolutely what they're after. Because I don't think, like, head to head, FC Cincinnati trying to play their way against the Columbus Crew playing their way, that's not a good matchup for Cincinnati in my mind. So they got to do a little bit of. I think they do have to do a couple. They have to do a couple things differently. So I would expect maybe a smidge more pragmatism from them, but the biggest thing is, they're going to try and get forward. They're going to try and make it ugly. They're going to kick the crap out of Nagby. They're going to kick the crap out of Sean, and try and be physical and see if that can result in some turnovers and transition moments for them, to go 3v3, 4v3, back the other way.
Brett, before we let you go, can we get a prediction from you?
Yeah, so I said, the more I thought about this, it was like I kind of felt it was going to be somewhat similar to the Leagues Cup final in that it's a 1-1 game that's like kind of tight, right? And anxious and all those things. And then all of a sudden a moment happens where it goes 2-1 and then the Crew finish it off, ice it off with 3-1. So I'm going 3-1 in a game that is, the old cliche, like closer than the scoreline really shows.
Yeah.
And I think it's 3 from the front 3 as well. Christian, Diego, and Cucho all on the score sheet.
He's putting names on it too. He's
Yeah.
putting names on it.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
doubt. Yeah, Christian continues to haunt the dreams of FC Cincy players. He makes a play on that second goal that breaks it open.
Oh yeah, for sure. Brett, where can the people find you at?
Yeah, on Twitter for the most part, because I don't venture into the hellscape that is Instagram. Not that Twitter isn't its own hellscape, but you know what I'm saying. Right. Yeah, just Brett_Hiltbrand is the Twitter account. You can find me there. I'm so stoked to finally be on this show. This is a long time coming, and I'm really glad we were able to make it happen. So we need to do this again for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Busy schedules have been keeping me kind of on my toes for the most part, but no, we definitely need to do this again. Brett, thanks so much for stopping in, man. Don't want to keep you too long. It looks like it's getting dark wherever you are.
I know, right? If you're watching this, my God, you're like, what is he doing right now? Yeah, it's officially like dusk here.
Yeah,
so.
We do have Campiona's Cup coming up, so.
Yeah, I care about there is whoever the engraver was from back in the day, that dude got fired. We need somebody who can spell the damn thing right. All right,
that's true. Brett, thanks again, man, for popping on. We'll get you on soon and talk to you soon. Also,
all right, boys, appreciate you. See ya.
See ya.
Yes, sir.
Brett, he's a lovely guy, dude. He's a great guy. I love that guy. He's so funny. Cincinnati
he brought up valid points though. Like,
yeah, no, that's Brett, man. He's so knowledgeable about everything. Knowledgeable.
It just was one of those where, like you said, Cincinnati came at Columbus, and it was like, it's almost like that fight in the schoolyard.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying, and it was one of those. It's like Columbus has been the bully of Cincinnati, and it's like the one that's getting picked on, hits you with that one jab to the nose, and you're like, oh, hold on, now you're holding your nose like,
wait a second, I wasn't expecting this.
Like you just hit me, like hold my beer,
Yeah.
So I mean, and then we saw what Columbus did to Cincinnati, Eastern Conference Finals, and then this year it was like we got smacked in the mouth by Cincinnati, and it was like, okay, now we can't wait till September.
And the thing is, it's one of those things like, you know what? It's okay, right? We didn't play well that game at all.
No.
We were lucky to get a goal, right? So we did not play well. Now, the thing is...
And all defense, though, in that one is Philip Quint was still trying to become that first team, or not. That was last year. My bad.
Yeah, that was last year.
My bad.
Now that game, we did really well. we just so happened to fall apart in
Got
the
one
dying
turnover.
embers. Yeah, we were just so happened to fall apart in the dying embers, you know? But this year, we did not play well that first game at all.
Mm-mm.
So now heading into a hostile TQL stadium, you know, I think with everything that happened in the Sounders match, right? We get our players back. I think Guatemala plays tomorrow night, and then we get Hagen back. Everybody else has played somewhat either yesterday or today. So we'll get Patrick back. I'm pretty sure somebody from the team is down there at TQL right now, waiting to carpool back with Patrick up to up to Columbus. But with everything that happened in the Sounders match, right? We get our players back. You said it, and Brett said it. Cujo and Nancy, and I think Connor said it also. Cujo and Nancy are going to be somewhat pissed off, right? Nancy maybe not so much because now that thing is in the past and he's focusing on this next game. However, Cujo gets called up to the Colombian national team, hasn't played a lick of a minute, not even made the bench. So I bet he's itching to get back.
He wants to play
to Columbus and get on the score sheet this Saturday to kind of help his MVP status for this year.
He's leading it right now.
That's power rankings. He's leading the MVP power rankings, but we'll take it. We'll take it. So now I think what needs to happen is I have no idea if Acosta has played significant minutes since suffering an injury setback.
So he didn't play the last game that they played. And I think he might have been out due to yellow card accumulation on that one. But he should be, he should be healthy. For the rivalry. But like you said, in my opinion, I think Cucho might have left straight from whatever stadium that the Colombia national team was playing in.
Mm-hmm.
And came back to Columbus.
Yeah.
Or didn't even go to the stadium, just packed his stuff up at the hotel and begged out.
Yep.
And told his agent to pick up my check from the Colombian national team and bring it to Columbus.
So it looks like in MLS play, right? His last significant game was 90 minutes in a 3-1 loss to Charlotte back July 13th.
So before Leagues Cup.
Yeah. So he then played 45 minutes in a 3-1 loss to the Red Bulls. He then played 32 minutes in a 1-1 draw, but Cincinnati wins 6-5 on PKs against Santos Laguna. And then he played 45 in a loss to Philadelphia in Leagues Cup. And then he played 45 in a 2-0 loss to Miami. So I'm thinking he's going to be back.
Happened?
What?
You cut out there for a second.
I did? Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Oh, Lord.
bringing up heartbreaks.
Hey,
but shout out this guy though, man. shout out him. Shout out him. Our favorite Pachuca fan. I think he's going to be back for a full 90. Honestly. Now, the thing about it is that how can Columbus contain him? He's coming off an injury, pretty much. How can Columbus can contain him?
It's a good question. And if he's coming off of an injury, though, he's still going to be cautious on that because I think it's an ankle. ankle foot issue, injury. So he's still going to be cautious though when it comes to what he does, right? Because it's always when you're fresh coming off of recovering from that injury, that first game or two, you're always cautious. So I did see some hope out there with some of the players that played in the Seattle game. DeJuan came in and made impact a little bit. Derek came in. Andreas Herrera was actually looking pretty good on the wing. And you could tell he was itching because he was making every chance he could to make those cuts towards the box or make those crosses. AZ was actually, being a little creative out there, so I think he's still getting used to the crew style. But it all starts with that midfield. It all starts with, whoever is next to Nagby, which, in my opinion, I give Sean the first half off because the man has been through hell and high water with the team and playing every single damn position on the field, including water boy. I'd give him the first 45 minutes off. But Sean, honestly, Sean's that player that he would take, he's okay if he's not starting, but he wants to be out there. And I think he's earned that spot.
Yeah. Key to the game.
Keep emotions in check. We know, we know Columbus is pissed off.
Yep.
And we've seen when Columbus is pissed off what what happens to teams that they play, i.e. LAFC earlier this year, 5-1. Coming off that
LAFC
Miami loss.
Leagues Cup.
Coming off that Miami loss that shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't have lost that Miami one, but we did. And then turn around, we took it out, I think the following week or the week after that against LAFC.
Yeah, I think it was the week after.
So, I mean, it's one of those where, keep your emotions in check, and go out there and show that Ohio is black and gold. Well, for the game, they're all yellow. But,
yeah.
That Ohio is still black and gold.
Actually, I just saw it too. Where did I see it at? I was gonna pull it up, the kits that we're wearing, but I can't find it. Oh well. Yep. All bananas for the crew. Cincinnati in their river kit, I think it's called. In all blue pretty much. So as
Somebody
it should
pointed
be,
it out. Somebody pointed out that FC Cincinnati only got one sock.
Yeah, it was Ashley. I know. I saw it. Yeah, it's right here on. It's right here on Twitter. I was looking on the wrong Twitter. Yeah, it's this right here. Hang on a second. There we go. There we go. Got it. We're gonna brand overlay. Boom. Nope. Boom. There we go. For those wondering, kit matchups. Bam. There we go. Yep. Cincinnati's only playing with one sock. It is what it is. So Patrick Schulte. Yeah. Patrick Schulte in all red. Roman Celentano in all green. Match officials in pink, black, and pink. I believe the match officials have been listed also.
Looks like there's gonna
And
be a bottle of Pepto Bismol
Oy, Jesus Christ.
or the
Match
Energizer
official.
Bunny.
Yeah, fair. Match officials for this match. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Jesus Christ. Joe Dickerson. Chris
Okay.
Elliott as AR1, Jason White as AR2, Alexis De Silva as the fourth official, Eunice Marakchi and Jeffrey Greason as the VAR and assistant VAR respectively. So those are the match officials. And yeah. Before we move on to predictions, Joe, just want to get your take on this really quick. If playoffs started today, this is what the playoff bracket will look like. We would face Charlotte FC 3 times and then move on to the conference semis, hopefully against FC Cincinnati. So this is if playoffs started today. Cincinnati as a number 2 seed will take on Orlando City. Columbus Crew will take on Charlotte FC, Red Bulls, and New York City. Miami awaits the wild card winner between Toronto and DC. Over in the West, LAFC and Houston. That game is always fun to watch. Salt Lake and Vancouver Whitecaps, Colorado Sounders. LA awaits the winner of the wild card match between the Portland Timbers and the Minnesota United Loons. So, just want to get
I'm gonna start with the West on this one. I like if it started today, like some of these matchups.
We're not going to dissect this. I just wanted to show you and what's your favorite matchup.
In the West, it would have to be honestly the story, which is Colorado.
Seattle.
Going from the bottom of the league last year to now you're sitting in fourth, and still have a chance to move up a little bit, so those standings can change.
Yep.
Especially Real Salt Lake without Chicho.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I think Seattle honestly might be dropping off. They had an extra game against Columbus, but their schedule still is starting to fire up. You know what I'm saying? So they might drop out. It might be, Portland there. It might be Minnesota there. Well, no, not really, but it might be Houston. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the West is a wild one. Now you come over to the East. I mean, I like some of those matchups, but Cincinnati and Columbus could be flipped. You know what I'm saying? And in all honesty, even can Miami, if Columbus can win out the rest of the way, Columbus has a shot to either to tie Inter Miami for the one spot. Definitely be in second, which they have a chance to jump up to second, I think, this weekend.
Yeah, with a win.
With a win over Cincinnati. So,
yep.
Charlotte, I like them just because Dean Smith has got them to buy in, and they're one of the top defensive teams. But something's got to do better than, having a first round with all New York.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Like that's probably the boring one out of them all. So.
My friend, we move to predictions now. I was going to try and let's just do this. Present. Share screen. We'll just do it this way. So starting off the night at 7:30, we have Atlanta and Nashville for Mercedes-Benz.
I'm taking Nashville in this.
Okay. No score.
I'm not gonna put no score. I'm just taking Nashville. I think they're due for a win.
Yeah, give me Atlanta on this one. DC, New York City from Audi Field.
Give me DC. 2-1.
Yeah, I like DC also. I'll go 1-0. Miami, Philadelphia.
I'm gonna go
From
with this.
Chase
I'm gonna
Stadium.
go with Philly. I'm going with Philly.
Philly, I like Philly in this one too, honestly. I'm gonna go Philly 1. I'm gonna go Philly 2-1. Montreal, Charlotte from Stade Saputo.
Give me Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah, I can see that.
I love Laurent to death, but they need to reset this offseason and get his players. Which don't be surprised if some of these Crew 2 players that are playing the USL, he doesn't try to get them to come up there to Montreal.
Yes. Orlando, New England at Inter & Co Stadium. New England's without Caleb Porter, by the
way. I'm gonna go draw.
Okay.
I think here and Will Sands has actually been playing good for Porter. Yeah, he was on one of the lists for MLS this week.
Yeah.
So happy for him. I think without Porter, the team is actually starting to come around, and buying into Porter's system. Yeah, give me a draw.
Give me Orlando 2-0 on that one. Toronto, Austin from BMO Field.
Give me Toronto. I don't care what the score is. Give me Toronto.
I can take Toronto also. I might see a draw also, so it's either or for me. Chicago, New York.
Ooh, Chicago and Red Bulls.
Yep.
Bulls. Give me. I'm gonna go draw.
Draw.
Yeah.
Give me Red Bulls by a 1-0 margin.
Give me a 1-1
draw. Houston, Salt Lake to start the 8:30. To start the second of the 8:30 games, Shell Energy Stadium.
Give me Houston.
Houston.
1-0. Yeah. 1-0.
Yeah, I'll go 1-0 Houston also. St. Louis, Minnesota.
St. Louis and Minnesota. Ugh. They're playing at City Park.
Yep.
Minnesota's starting to come along. Give me. I'm gonna go St. Louis, man.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like St. Louis. Colorado, Portland to start the 9:30 slate at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Give me Colorado.
Yeah. I could probably see either or, honestly. United States just scored, by the way, 69th minute. Christian Pulisic.
Fantastic.
I can see either or. Honestly, I can see anything happening in this game. I'll probably go a 2-2 draw.
Fair.
To start the 10:30 slate of games, El Tráfico, LA Galaxy and LAFC from Dignity Health Sports Park.
Give me Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Yep. Give me Galaxy.
Okay. I'll go LAFC. on this one. I think, wow. I thought you'd go LAFC. Yeah, all right. I'll go LAFC. Last but not least, Vancouver, San Jose to round out the 10:30 slate
Give me
from
Vancouver.
PC Place. Yeah, easy. Honestly, San Jose is kind of.
But don't be surprised if they either draw or pull an upset. If San Jose pulls it,
Yeah,
I think Hernan Lopez is out there, pretty much trying to keep him on his back, and he can only do so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is
Maradona's nephew, so I mean,
right. Last but not least, our favorite.
We got a game on Sunday.
Oh yeah, thank you. Forgot about that. Seattle, Kansas City on Sunday.
Give me Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Give me Kansas City. Yes, Seattle will be right. Seattle will be right in a high because of what they did to the defending MLS champs.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kansas City and Alan Pulido and company goes in there, smacks Seattle in the mouth, and stuns the whole Seattle crowd.
Yeah. I'll go KC. Actually, I'll go draw. I'll go draw 1-1. It's gonna be a fight to the death, though. I'll tell you that much.
So, hey, if any KC fans out there see this show, y'all better tell y'all players to win. Damn it.
Last but not least, sorry, I just got the show sheet for the show I'm on tonight. Last but not least, Hell is Real, Cincinnati, Columbus.
I'm gonna echo what Brett said. 3-1.
3-1. I can get.
I want to see a shutout because it feels so much better shutting them out at their place. I mean, we did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Jason iced it with that goal late there for a 3-0 win. But yeah. I want to shut them out there in Cincinnati. And I would love a 3-0 win, but 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 is my safe bet. But I want to see a 5-1.
A 5-1?
Yeah.
My friend, you go bold for the weirdest.
I said I want to see it because like I touched on it earlier, after the Miami loss, we smacked LAFC around like they were a little ragdoll and won 5-1.
Yeah, but we're playing against the reigning supporter shield winners.
I said, but we're coming off of a pissed off team that is pissed off about Seattle.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me my safe bet is 3-1 Columbus, but in the fan side, let me go 6-1.
Now you're just going crazy at this point. You've lost it. You've fucking lost it. I'll go 2-1. A more reasonable score than what your fan side wants.
Hey, but my FanDuel side is saying 3-1.
Friends, if you have anybody who's addicted to gambling, please get them some help like this guy. This guy literally is addicted to gambling.
Listen, I have not put any other tickets in. No college football, no NFL.
I did an NFL one, and Jalen Hurts fucked me over because he didn't score a touchdown this past week.
I have not done any of that, so I'm being good.
All right. Well, let's see how long that lasts.
Probably not that long.
Probably not that long at all. No, probably not that long. Fucking Bengals have Chiefs this week. You're probably going to put something on that.
I am not.
That's a first. Yellow card, red card.
Um,
I'll tell you right now, I do not have nothing at all. I think let me just say this. I think what is that? By a unanimous vote, the red card would be the fact that the league denied a extreme hardship waiver for the Columbus Crew. That's a unanimous red card between both of us.
yes.
Other than that, I don't have it right. I don't have a yellow.
Mine is pedestrians that think that anywhere they cross a street that is a crosswalk and get mad when you honk your horn at them, or when there are pedestrians at the crosswalk signal, they wait until the light is yellow before they start to cross the street, knowing you have the green light, and they take their time going across the street. It's like y'all were standing there and you saw the yellow, and you wanted to wait till you saw it turn a little bit orange right before it turns red before you cross. Like, go on somewhere. That's my yellow card. Yeah.
All right.
I believe it's sharing the roadway with bicyclists and pedestrians, pedestrians to a certain point.
Fair.
Especially on
that's
campus.
It. Oh my God, campus sucks. That's it for the show. A little bit longer than normal. Shout out Brett for jumping on.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Right. Be sure to follow us on social media. On Twitter at Wisemen Pod, on TikTok at Wisemen Pod, on Instagram at the Wisemen Say Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Wisemen Say. You guys can follow Gerald on social media
at Gerald_Lucas96.
You guys can follow me on social media at Fisher Tyler __. Be sure to check out the link in our bio for all links you can find us at, including our merch store. By the way, have something to tell you after we're off air. I don't know if you noticed it, but I did when I logged into Anchor. It's good, I promise. Be sure to check out the link in our bio for all links to our merch store, to the supporter link, all links of social media. Be sure to check out the supporter link in the description of Spotify bio. Any donation or any penny, every penny actually, from supporter link or subscriptions, whatever, gets put back into the show for equipment. Helps with travel for lodging, food, gas, so we can bring you content on the road. Like our trip to Cincinnati this week goes towards that. We appreciate you guys. If you guys can't donate anything now, just continue to share the show. Get your friends, your family, loved ones into this. We are welcoming guests of all sorts to the show. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you guys for sticking along. If you are listening on audio, thank you for listening to the end. Shout out again to Brett for jumping on. And that is that. My friend, this has been fun, as always. And as tradition goes, wise men say,
only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Hug your loved ones. Go Crew.
Stay wise, yo.